Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. It's been a rainy Thursday here in East Memphis, but it is a beautiful day nonetheless because we are here live at 11 a.m. on Bluff City Media's YouTube channel. And I'm hanging out with my guy, Drew Gann, a.k.a. Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck, the Thursday blues don't have you down today, do they?
No, Thursday's the best day of the work week. It's all gravy here. I can see the weekend. We got football tonight. Like, I don't have anything to complain about. I kind of like the rain right now. We just hadn't had it in so long. So I've not gotten to the point yet to where I am bummed out in the slightest by some cloudy skies.
Yeah, I mean, it's the ultimate, like, old white guy thing to say, but, like, I truly think we needed the rain. Like, it was just been so dusty. It's been so just gross, hot, and sticky that this rain is much needed. Hopefully, it'll wash away some of the allergens and the dust and kind of knock that grass down a little bit. But regardless, we are inside where it is hot and dry, and we got plenty to talk about today, including one of our newest segments where we just let it all out, and we have our therapy session here on Thursday.
I tell you what, if that doesn't get you in the mood for a live show, I don't know what does. So this is our new segment, second week of doing this segment, and we're going to do it on Thursdays. We call it our Thursday therapy sessions, where we just get out anything that needs to get out. It's not always lighthearted. Don't let the music fool you. This is not necessarily a doom and gloom segment. If it was, this would be like the Friday news dump segment, not the starting your show off on a Thursday segment. So
That's exactly right.
Would invite everybody. We got Wayno and King Meeks and Jared and others in the comments, unnamed people that just listen without partaking in the enjoyment of this show via comments.
Quick shout out, or shout outs are due. I was in Corinth yesterday, and I'll get to that more here in a minute. But Roseanne and Clifton Cornelius. Our show in Corinth. I saw Miss Roseanne yesterday at the AT&T store, and she said that they listen to our show all the time and they love it. So we appreciate y'all listening in Corinth.
I love them dearly.
Great people. You talk about like top shelf people, and that's that family. They're incredible.
Yeah. Oh, hey, that makes my day a little bit. I have not heard from them in a minute. Yeah.
I hadn't either, and I stumbled in, and I'll get to that here in a minute with my therapy talk. And she was just like, out of the blue, she was like, we listen to you and Drew's show all the time. We love it. We think it's great. And I was like, it's not the best show, but we have a really good time. And she was like, we love it. Like, y'all do a great job. And so it was like,
they are
really touching yesterday.
People like Miss Roseanne, Mr. Clifton, and our parents are the reason why we like to start our show off with just me and Rusty being friends. And part of being friends is airing out your grievances. So you've got something queued up for me here. Excited to hear it. I'm excited to see how I can help you. I'm the therapist.
Well, so it's kind of for everybody. Mine is more of a warning today, and it's y'all be careful out there, because there are folks that are out there with malicious intent, and that malicious intent is to scam the good people in this world. An unnamed family member of mine got hosed by a person posing to be an Apple employee, and it's really convincing. Like, I was looking at some of the notes that my family member was making yesterday, and some of the stuff he said, it's legit. And I mean, it's things that, if you're not paying attention, it makes sense. And it's kind of a sad, touchy subject. It really is. But y'all gotta be careful out there. I mean, I know people, Drew, that and this is an older family member, but I know people that are our age that have been hit with scams by the Shelby County Sheriff Department or other sheriff departments that are saying you have to go pay $3,500 at this kiosk or go give $3,500 to this person or you're going to be arrested today. And when you're at work and you're busy and you get that kind of a call or that voicemail, I can understand where you might panic and fall into that a little bit.
Yeah.
So my therapy advice, my therapy Thursday, my advice to the good people in the comments on YouTube, on X, later on Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Because reminder, we are there. If you don't want to see these ugly mugs, we love y'all to hang out with us live, but go listen to us if you don't want to look at us. Y'all be careful out there, man. Folks are out to get you in this day.
Yeah. And they target, and I feel like they are most successful with the elderly generation, which is just abhorrent and evil diabolical behavior to target your elderly. It is our responsibility to take care of our elders and our children as, people who are old enough and able enough to take care. You have an obligation to take care of those two communities.
It's the only one of the 10 commandments that come with a regulation and a promise, right? Like you honor your father and mother so that you can live long in the land. And
right.
So we're supposed to take care of that generation.
And I'm a young person who is highly technical. I liked the new stuff. I like the new gadgets. I have almost fallen victim to one of these. It is highly technical. I bought a MacBook in college. I was not aware of the differences in iOS and, the Safari. For anybody who has a MacBook and went from Windows to a Mac, it is weird. And I just did a simple Google search one time about how to fix something on my computer. And just a tip to anybody, on Google, the first few lines there, first few options are sponsored options. Never click those. Do not click those. Find the actual results generated by Google, because I clicked a sponsored link. Those are paid to put there, and it led me to this help desk that was not helpful at all and had almost convinced me that my iOS was corrupted and I needed a new internet. Like, it needed to be scrubbed, basically. Mm-hmm. And then they finally got me to the point where they were like, it's going to cost like $2,000. And the only thing that saved me was, one, I didn't have $2,000, and I had to call my mom. And another tip for anybody out there, if you think you may be getting scammed, just call and tell somebody about it, because a lot of times just repeating the story that you're going through to somebody opens up your own eyes, because hearing you say it to someone else makes you realize, this is really stupid.
That's it.
This is stupid, right? And that's what happened to me. I called my mom and I was like, hey, they're telling me my internet's broken. This is a scam. So
yeah. Sometimes it helps to talk it out. So if you need people to talk it out with, that's what we're here for on Therapy Thursdays. If you think you're being scammed, or as my father has always told me, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. King Meeks brings up a great point here now with all the deep fakes and these AI images. AI is getting scary, man. Like some of these videos and these people, like the way they look and move in some of these videos that are clearly AI, like if you really pay attention, sometimes at first glance, it looks legit. It looks real. And it might be again, not bashing anybody with this, but I've never seen some of the young ladies and some of these AI images that I've seen in Corinth, Mississippi. Nobody has ever driven within 100 miles of Corinth, Mississippi.
And they're not talking to me.
No. And nobody's driven within 100 miles of Corinth, Mississippi in a red Lamborghini. I'm sorry, but that's fake. But some of the images are really they're real, man.
Yeah. And just be careful who you talk to. I got a voicemail. I've been getting a lot of voicemails lately. And I typically, if I don't know the number, I will see if they leave a voicemail. 9 times out of 10, they don't. I've been getting one with a voicemail lately. And you're talking about AI. The voices on these robocalls are not robotic anymore.
Not at all.
The only thing that gave it away was, one, they were asking me about a loan that I did not apply for, and two, at the end of the voicemail, this was a pre-recorded thing, and the lady was supposed to say this when I picked it up, but instead it got to the voicemail, and at the end of the voicemail, it was like, press 2 right now if you okay, well, this is obviously a voicemail. I can't do that, so... don't answer your phone if it's a scam, if it's a number you don't recognize. If they need you, they'll text you or they'll call back or leave a voice.
And his cousin Kirk always says, never trust strippers named Debbie and only trust women with 2005 Toyota Camrys or 94 Dodge Dynasties, because if it's a Lambo or newer, it's not a real image.
No.
Not a real image.
Yeah, I'll leave that. I'll leave this one alone.
Listen, we're getting close to basketball season, and so once again, we've got a basketball segment. I'm going to hit the button because it's not necessarily a Grizzly segment, but there's a basketball on it, and I got to use this bumper video yesterday, and I loved it. I forgot how much I liked it, so we're going to be talking basketball on the other side.
That's right. I feel like we're going to talk about the ESPN. They released their top 10 basketball players. I feel like they drugged this out a lot more last year. They just did it in 3 days, 51 to 100 in day one. 50-11 in day 2. You got your top 10 today. We have thoughts, although, well, I'll let you set it up. Wasn't anything. I can't argue with any of the players there. We can talk about rankings though.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like your top 10, and I've got from FanDuel.com the updated latest NBA MVP odds. Y'all go check out FanDuel.com as your home for gambling sports betting this basketball season. But the top 10, starting with number 10, you got Jalen Brunson, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry. Ant is 6. Your top 5 are Wembanyama, Giannis, Luka. SGA number 2, and I'm sure no surprise, Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA per ESPN.com and their writers. Sure, I have no problem with the top 5. The top 5 in that order to me makes sense. Nikola Jokic is the best. SGA, Luka are probably 2, 3 right in there. Giannis is the best player. He's the only reason Milwaukee ever has a pulse. Could be he's the best player in the Eastern Conference, and they've shown that as he's the number 4 player. And then you got Victor Wembanyama at 5. I'm not sure the gap between 5 and 6 is that much with him and Ant, but what are your thoughts on the top 5 first?
I still feel like Wemby is getting like the treatment a little bit. He had a quote unquote breakout season last year that was shortened by blood clots that ended his season. There's still not a lot that I can say that he deserves to be called the 5th best player right now, but I have no problem looking at Wembanyama and what he's going to be and project him even higher than 5. Like, I don't have any issue with that at all. It is a little bit of I want it to be more of an in-the-moment vote, which is why I was okay with Ja being 31, but Wemby has not done enough, in my opinion, to be 5. I mean, Anthony Edwards, it just take the guy right below him. Anthony Edwards his team to back-to-back Western Conference Finals. Yeah. Did he perform well there? Not particularly, but he's done more in his career to this point than Wemby has.
And that's what I said. That gap there is not that big. It's big in the eyes of FanDuel, where Wembanyama is plus 1,200, the 5th most likely player to win the MVP next year. Ant is 6th at plus 2,500. But I agree. I think Wembanyama has done a lot, and I can, like, for those two guys, 5, 6, either way is fine. Like I said, the gap's not that far. But the glimpses that we've seen, like Wembanyama can be an absolute just game changer, league changer, just a difference maker in the NBA with his unnatural dimensions and ability to play offensive and defensive basketball. And all he did this offseason was train with Shaolin monks, train with 2 of the best post players of all time, with Hakeem Olajuwon, the Dream, who has some of the best footwork in the history of the NBA. Kevin Garnett, who's one of the toughest defenders in the NBA. And if he takes anything from either one of those cats and kind of takes the leap, I can understand why ESPN has him in the top 5, as well as FanDuel having him in the top 5 MVP odds for sure.
I have no problem with Giannis being a vastly more favorite or a vastly lower odds for MVP than Ant, though. Again, that is projecting future. There is no brighter future than Victor Wembanyama. They added another rookie. They added Dylan Harper. They're going to have a full offseason with De'Aaron Fox to work in with Wemby. I have no issue with a Wemby MVP bet place. I would bet, and you don't have this pulled up, I would bet he is a vast favorite, like a long favorite for defensive player of the year this year. He was minus big odds for defensive player of the year last year when he went out for the season.
Do you want to take a guess at what his odds are for DPOY? Just take a guess. I'll tell you, they are minus odds. They're minus odds. I'll tell you that.
I will say minus. I want to go really big, but I think because it's the off season, they probably want some. I don't know. I think I'll go actually bigger there because I think they probably want some money on other folks to even it out a little bit. So I'll say minus 600.
Wow. So no, like it's minus odds. Not quite that. It's minus 185, which still the second place though is Chet at plus 650. So it's a wide gap between Victor and Chet. Your top five are Wembanyama at minus 185, Chet plus 650, Amin Thompson plus 1600. The only other, well, there's three players tied at plus 1600. Amin Thompson, the only player in the history of NBA who's ever played made entirely of paper mache. Anthony Davis, Draymond Green plus 1600, and then Dyson Daniels is plus 2000. Jaren Jackson Jr. plus 4,000 DPOY odds. But Victor Wembanyama is obviously the odds-on favorite. I'd take plus 4,000 on Jaren right now.
Listen, if I'm Vegas, I think he has his odds of winning the defense player of the year are much higher than that. The only reason he doesn't is because if he's like in the MVP race, and how many people have won MVP and DPOY at the same time. I would a minus 185 as a favorite bet here. Like, I think I would hammer that. You're not going to get better odds than that after the first week of the season.
Oh,
when he averages 4 blocks a game in his first 3 games, he's going to shoot even further favorite.
There have been 3 players to win the NBA MVP and DPOY in the same season.
Let me guess.
You name those 3. Yeah.
I'm going to say Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, 1988, was the MVP, DPOY, and the scoring title that year.
And LeBron James has never done that. All right, so
he has not.
let's think. The only current one that I would think had a shot would be Giannis, and I don't think he did it. He did?
And DPOY in that 2020 magical run for the Bucks that year.
All right, so give me
in the 90s.
In the 90s, okay.
He would be on my NBA Mount Rushmore. He's top 3, not number 3.
Tim Duncan. You hate Tim Duncan. Well, you look at the 90s, and that's pretty much all. That's pretty much all Michael Jordan. 98 was his last championship. He won 6 in the 90s.
Think about some of the other teams. What's another team that went back to back in the 90s?
Well, I mean, don't make it too easy for me. The Lakers went back to back in the 90s, didn't they? Would be Kobe. I'm trying. Charles Barkley won an MVP. Karl Malone won an MVP in the Jordan era. Give me a conference.
A Western Conference.
Okay, well, I just picked my 2 Western Conference MVPs that I knew happened in the 90s.
They went back to back in the earlier 90s.
In the earlier 90s.
Run. They were back to back before Jordan and the Bulls' big run.
Isaiah Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Give you one more guess. He's a big man, and we've talked about him today.
He's the East. That's the East. We talked about him today?
Yeah, and he's a post player that we talked about today.
David Robinson.
We just talked about Hakeem Olajuwon, the dream. Hakeem Olajuwon in 1994 was your MVP, DPOY, won the title, and Finals MVP in 1994. Probably one of the most decorated seasons of all time.
Yeah, it's because Michael Jordan went to play baseball.
He was playing baseball. I was talking to my brother about that. Like, there was a big, he just for the first time discovered this conspiracy theory that Michael Jordan might have been in trouble with some gambling, betting on the NBA. And so instead of
getting to that
year, I'm like, Clark, welcome to the conversation.
The secret suspension from David Stern.
Absolutely, brother. That's been around since day one. Like, ain't nobody fooled by that. But
why in the world does his dad get shot at a rest stop on the side of the road?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
we talked. So you're 6 through 10 again. Ant at 6, Steph Curry at 7. Like, I think he's a top 10 player. He was 6th last year. They moved him back a spot. He regressed a little bit last year. Again, defenses selling out to cover him when he was basically the only
worst team.
Butler.
Yeah,
exactly. Number 7, he's number 7. LeBron James went from 7 to 8. Kevin Durant stayed at number 9 where he was last year, and then number 10. For the first time in his career, Jalen Brunson cracks the top 10. He was number 12 last year as his second consecutive All-Star and All-NBA second-team selections bumped him up to the top 10. Any issues with 6 through 10?
No, not really. I'm glad that Steph is the leader of those 3 old heads. I would rather have Steph than any of the 3 being Steph, LeBron, and KD. Sure. And Brunson, I mean, it's just kind of the same argument I'm going to make with Ant. Eastern Conference Finals this year, best player on a team. Dynamic scorer. hasn't won a title yet, but there's no reason why he shouldn't be in the top 10. Number 11 was Jalen Williams, J-Dub, which I was okay with. He dropped 50 points in an NBA Finals game.
Yeah.
Like, how many guys can say they've done that? 40 points.
He got better as the year went on, and he was really, really good in the playoffs. Top 15 for sure. 11 felt a little bit high, but again, 50 points in the finals. Had a great playoff run.
Yeah, I think it was 40, not 50. But but my point being, I think Jalen Brunson's better than Jalen Williams. So yeah, I'm cool with him being 10.
Yeah. I'm curious what this Fred VanVleet impact is going to have on Kevin Durant, because that team, they're still going to be good. We talked about it a lot yesterday. This team's going to be good, but are they going to be as good as we once thought they were? I don't think so. I think VanVleet was, obviously, we saw it last year. He was very, very important to that offense and making it flow. Like we talked about yesterday, a lot's going to be on Reed Sheppard, but I'm curious how that's going to impact Kevin Durant's first, possibly only year in Houston.
Well, that Houston team was built like a better version of Orlando. Like, they were very defensive minded. Ime Udoka is a very defensive minded coach, and the offense was kind of, I take a shot, you take a shot. The Grizzlies beat the Rockets every time they played them, and every time they played them, it was like, no, not every time. I'm thinking of they beat Phoenix every time they played them. That's the Kevin Durant team. But when they beat the Rockets, Fred VanVleet took the last shot when Jalen Green had the best night. It was just kind of weird. You're not going to have that as much this year when you add in Kevin Durant into that. It's going to simplify the offense a lot. And so I'm not really worried about Houston this year, even missing Fred VanVleet. But like I said yesterday, I'm kind of a fan of Reed Sheppard. So,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Houston does and what Reed Sheppard can do. But that's your NBA top 10 players with your FanDuel odds. Right now, you can go vote on that. Ja Morant clocks in the MVP conversation, but he is at plus 20,000, tied with Steph Curry for plus 20,000, behind Zion Williamson and Trae Young.
That may answer my question then. Who of the big three old heads, Steph, KD, LeBron, who's got the shortest MVP odds?
KD at plus 5,000.
Okay.
He's tied. KD is tied. KD is on an island between Ant at plus 2,500, Cade Cunningham plus 6,000, Jalen Brunson's plus 8,000, and then you get into five figures with Donovan Mitchell and Paolo Banchero, both at plus 10,000. Joel Embiid plus 15,000, ahead of Trae Young, Zion, Steph, Ja, and Anthony Davis.
We didn't talk about Philly bringing back their old school black jerseys. Are you a fan of that? I know Wayno was not a fan of that.
Yeah. I think it's
in our group chat.
The dichotomy of the two teams, because those Philly teams were tough in the 90s when AI and early 2000s were wearing those jerseys. I love the jerseys. I love the look. I get Wayno's point. The dichotomy of the teams is what drives it apart, because this Philly team is so soft and they don't play. Their stars never play. Joel Embiid has not played against Nikola Jokic in 12 years, has not played in Denver since 2011 or something. It's wild. I love.
I'm not 100% sure either of them were even in the NBA in 2011, brother.
Still, I love the look, but I understand Wayno's point with the dichotomy of the two teams. But I love those jerseys are fire.
Yeah,
especially
they're fine.
You put Paul George in the picture, and Paul George is probably not going to play until December because of his recent knee surgery.
I mean, who do you put in the picture?
17
Did you
games.
see the rollout? I meant to send this to you, but I didn't. Every team's kind of putting their pictures out, and they're rolling out their jersey in an announcement of sorts. And they had a collage of pictures, I think 3 or 4 pictures they posted. And one of them was Jared McCain sitting at a flat bench, for a bench press, and had 2.5 pound plates on the bar. I was like, oh boy.
I noticed. I was like, are we curling? What are we doing there, bro? I hope, real quick sidebar. I helped with some strength conditioning when I was at Mississippi State, and I worked with the basketball team a little bit. And we had a player, Jarvis Vernado, who's one of the all-time leading
all arms. I remember him.
All arms. And we were tasked, me and a guy named Pruitt Gregory, who lives in Nashville now, we were tasked with getting some weight on Jarvis Vernado. And I will never forget our test day. We're testing out. We're like, all right, let's see how many just straight push-ups you can do. 1.5.
Yeah.
He got one. He got halfway up and he falls and he hits the ground. And Pruitt goes, "Is that it?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think so." And I
But,
said,
you know, his arms
"Oh."
were so long. When he fell, he risked cracking a rib.
Now, to be fair, his push-ups covered about 4 feet. Whereas,
Yes.
like most normal people, you travel maybe a foot and a half, 2 feet. He was going at least the size of a small child.
If he held a push-up fully extended, it would at least come up to, like, my chest. Like, that dude had freakish arms.
Yeah, and hands. I sat behind him in our athletic training class, and he had a tiny little melon, unlike this big old watermelon I carry around on my shoulders every day. But he had these massive hands, Drew, and I was sitting behind him, and he put the butt of his hand above this ear and scratched the other ear. And I was just like, that's not – he just palmed his own head to scratch his ear. It was wild. I taped his ankle in that class, and I used 2 rolls of tape to get that thing taped.
Yeah.
It's just how, like – wildly proportioned this guy was.
Thomas Jefferson once said, "We are all created equal." No, we are all created with equal rights, but we are not all created equal.
No, take a look at Jarvis Fernando and Victor Wembanyama, and we are not the same species.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true. But after the commercial break, we have the much anticipated, much waited on Greased Pole Volume 3, I think. It's our 3rd or 4th edition. Doesn't matter. It's coming back after the commercial break.
In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
I just want to say off top, like, every time a win like that happens at that place, it just feels like this momentous occasion for the city.
Yeah.
And like with most universities, it's not like that. If Wisconsin gets a big signature win, it's not like, oh, what a day for Madison. Alabama wins, what a day for Tuscaloosa. But like the way that our university is set up and the fan base is set up, it always feels just like this massive occasion for Memphis. It just felt like a celebration of Memphis like we haven't seen in a long time in that stadium.
It does. You do feel like you're jinxing it, and you don't want to speak too early. And it's 4 games into the season, so we can't get carried away. But any season that turns out to be, one for the record books or ends up being special and one that people talk about forever, much like that 2019 season, like games like this have to happen for it to be that season.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 10 a.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Two Buck Sports Show Thursday edition of the show. We just wrapped up our Therapy Thursdays. We talked about the ESPN Top 10 that was released for the NBA player rankings. And now we're going to get into some college football. We have our Grease poll. That's where me and Rusty, we rank our top 10 teams in college football. And listen, let's just hop to it. Who do you want to go first?
I'll go first today. You went first last week. I'll go first, but I do want to take this opportunity to remind y'all, speaking of college football, the Grease Poll this week is brought to you by Grind City Brewing and our show there this Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Come hang out with us. We got Notre Dame, Arkansas on the big screen at 11, Tennessee at Mississippi State. If you show up in Vols or Mississippi State gear, you get $5 beers during the game. So come hang out during that. And then stick around for Alabama, Georgia at 6:30 after the show. Drew, I was getting ready for our picks for tomorrow. I was getting the show written for Saturday. It's an epic day of college football. I know it's been talked about ad nauseum at this point. Like, if you listen to us or Josh Pate or some of the different people, like, the games this weekend are massive. You got a wideout in Happy Valley, where Oregon is traveling to Penn State. You got a whiteout in Starkville. We're wearing the Snow Bowl throwback, interlocking MSU all whites. Tennessee's wearing all orange. It's going to be a really cool jersey matchup. You've got LSU at Ole Miss. You've got Bama at Georgia. If you've got a wedding this Saturday,
oh God, help you. I can't.
Sick. I'm so sorry that you feel bad on Saturday.
Yeah. I can't say much. I got a baseball tournament I got to go to, but at least that's a kid. I'm doing it because my kid wants to.
And it's not as frowned upon to be looking at a football game on your iPad or your phone.
Oh no, that's true.
While the game's going on, versus if you're in the middle of a wedding and you've got Alabama, Georgia pulled up on your iPad, that might be.
That is very true. I'm glad you pointed that out. It makes me feel a lot less guilty about it. You talked about uniform combinations, though. In my humble opinion, Ole Miss, if they do the correct thing this weekend, it is uniform. It is sexy uniform, the sexiest of the whole season, if you ask me. If they go with the gray pants, red jerseys, powder helmets, with the traditional LSU road, or they wear them at home too, but the white and the gold pants, the gold helmet, it pops every single time that those teams wear that. But unfortunately, we've typically went with the powder jerseys against LSU. That's a disservice, in my opinion.
Listen, I think that the all white, like my favorite uniform combination is all white, and State and Penn State both doing it. It's going to be so crispy. It's going to look so good. Cannot wait for that this weekend. But speaking of cannot wait, I know we have dilly-dallied long enough. And here's our Grease polls for the week, brought to you by Grind City Brewing and by FanDuel, where you can go to FanDuel.com right now. As a new member, you bet $5, you get $30 in free bets. Go check it out. Also, big matchup on campus on FanDuel.com. 50% profit boost on both the Georgia-Alabama game and the Oregon-Penn State game, should you want to lay some wagers on those right now at FanDuel.com. But my Grease poll of the week. No change in the top 6. I left them just like they were last week, with Miami at number 1, Ohio State number 2, Georgia, LSU, Penn State, and Oregon. We're going to have a lot of moving Saturday, as you called it. Fans of golf, you understand what that means as well. It's moving days on Saturday when the cut happens. And so we will know a whole lot more about Georgia, about LSU, about Penn State, and about Oregon after this Saturday. There will be some shaking up at the top of my Grease poll, but until then, not so much. I'm also afraid, Drew, there's going to be some shaking up at the number 7 position of my Grease poll. I'm worried a bit about Oklahoma. No John Mateer for at least the next 4 to 5 weeks after he had a little minor surgery.
Is that what they said? Did they give a timeline?
What I read yesterday, and I haven't looked today, was it could be up to 4 to 5 weeks.
Well, Ole Miss plays them October the 25th, I think. So that's right at 4 weeks.
That's right on the cusp. And so I'm curious now. That defense is going to be able to carry them because, let's be honest, that defense is elite. But they're going to be tested again. Let's see where they at.
Well, see, they've got the bye week this week. Kent State, the Red River Shootout in Dallas, on the road at South Carolina, then Ole Miss at home. That's the next 5 weeks.
So they timed it out. The injury happened last week against Auburn, but it timed out having the bye week. You got Kent State to kind of prep up, but you're going to be tested by Texas, and we'll see what his progress is. They'll be fine until then, but Oklahoma may not be sitting there in a few weeks. Mississippi State's got to.
It's really unfortunate for me because I called Oklahoma going into the season, and I called Oklahoma to beat Texas in the Red River Shootout when this was a pretty bold proclamation for me to make before week 1. And now it's going to look like, oh, Drew was wrong. Texas wins, and I'm going to be like, crap. John Mateer, the Heisman favorite.
At least your guy got hurt. I was big on Clemson before the season, said they were only going to lose to Georgia Tech, and they have been flat awful. So we both have been wrong there. Number 8, Mississippi State's got to prove it weekend this weekend. It's cheeky, I know, that Mississippi State's in my top 10.
Yes.
I'm a homer, as you see I'm rocking
both cheeks
colors here. But we've got to prove it weekend this weekend. If you tell me on Saturday we find a way to upset Tennessee, and we have 2 top 15, including 1 borderline top 10 upset. I think Tennessee's 15. So 2 top 15 upsets in the beginning of the season. I don't want to hear any other word about them being in my top 10 greased poll. But
of course I wouldn't be upset if after they beat Tennessee I think they went up a spot after beating Northern Illinois, though, if I
did.
remember correctly. So
They did.
that's
They did
pretty
because-
foolish. That's pretty foolish.
Went up
but-
because ahead of them, I had Illinois, who I was also wrong about, and they fell out of my top 10 after they got embarrassed by a fake tough Indiana team. And then Texas A&M moved up, benefited from that as well. They also have another opportunity to prove it this weekend when Auburn comes to College Station, chance for a big win. And then Florida State has been just outside of my top 10. Alabama getting better since that game. Yes, they beat the brakes off of a couple teams that don't matter. But if Alabama beats Georgia this weekend, which I think they can, that makes Florida State look even better. And so they've crept into my top 10 for the first time this week.
Yeah. So you say this is your first time to have Florida State in your top 10?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, they have not left my top 10. Listen, I've had the same problem that you had. I want to have some movement in my top 10. I want to have talking points. Unfortunately, though, week 4 was I had 4 teams in last week's top 10 that had a bye, and then the only one that really had a real statement game was Oklahoma beating Auburn at home. So Oklahoma did move up a little bit. I didn't change my top 3 because I didn't really need to because I would just be changing it for change's sake. So Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon. I did move
Again,
up Oklahoma.
We'll find a whole lot out about 2 of those teams this weekend.
Yeah, I did move up Oklahoma just because they did have the big win, and I don't want to project forward. I didn't want to drop Oklahoma out because of potential future losses because of the loss of John Mateer. So I did move up Oklahoma. I thought that was a pretty impressive win at home against Auburn. LSU, I believe they were down a spot from last week for me. Listen, the offensive issues are there. They played Southeastern Louisiana, and it was like 38-10, something like that. But there's just a lot of stuff around that LSU program. Maybe it's because I've deep dived LSU a lot this week, and I've just been really seeing some of their offensive deficiencies that makes me not believe in them as much. They haven't taken a loss yet, so I can't really push them down too much, but they did get jumped by Oklahoma after Oklahoma's big win. Listen, everybody's high on Penn State. I just refuse to be. I think they get smoked in a whiteout against Oregon. I don't believe in Drew Aller. James Franklin is 4-20 in games against top 10 opponents. That's a 20% winning percentage. That's garbage. So Penn State's at 6, Miami at 7. Listen, they should probably be higher, but I just don't know who I want to move them up over at this point. This is moving week. It's a very possible that this whole grease pole is scrapped and started over next week, and so
Sure.
that's the beauty of getting into the meat of the schedule at this point. Florida State at 8. Listen, they beat Alabama. I think Alabama's good. I never sold the stock of Alabama, although I thought they had pretty glaring questions. I didn't blame anybody who did. They've just beaten the brakes off of everybody they've played ever since then. Good teams beat bad teams. Great teams smash bad teams. And Alabama has Florida State has smashed their teams just like Alabama has, so they're going to get a tick up. Listen, Ole Miss handled business against Tulane. It was a margin of victory that I was not expecting, 45-10. Jake Retzlaff, the BYU, as he was called when he was the quarterback at BYU, completed his first pass with about 50 seconds to go in the second quarter against Ole Miss. Ole Miss is now favored against LSU. I'm moving them up. And then at number 10, and this is the reason why the Mississippi State thing, like you just toot your own horn, I guess, but Texas Tech and the other school was Alabama. I was looking at the 10 spot, and Indiana. I went Texas Tech because they have the most recent impressive win. They went to Salt Lake City, where dreams go and die a lot of the times, and then they just beat Utah like a redheaded stepchild. Like it was impressive. You talk about money spent, and that can be a demerit. People like to poke fun at teams like even there are some fans of teams in the Big Ten that want to poke fun at at Ohio State saying they're a $20 million roster. Well, they won a championship.
Yeah.
That's what Texas Tech is potentially in the middle of right now. They're in a very weak conference, and they spend a ton of money, and they're getting their money's worth so far. So they're at 10 for me.
So a couple teams you mentioned, Indiana has an opportunity to move in as well. They play a tough Iowa team on the road this weekend. They manhandled Illinois, but Iowa's a team that can slow you down on their own home field. They can put you in kind of a lull by running the football and punting it to death. But it would also help their cause for me if Illinois, who is a 6.5-point home underdog, can upset USC, who travels from Los Angeles to Illinois this weekend. Will help with that as well. Right now, again, FanDuel has USC as a 6.5-point favorite. Indiana is a 7.5-point favorite over Iowa. Both of those, the over/under, it's a tale of two teams, right? Iowa puts you in a headlock and beats you to sleep and lulls you to sleep. The over/under set at 48.5 in that game between Indiana and Iowa. The over/under in the USC-Illinois game, where apparently defense is going to be optional, is 60.5.
Yeah.
It's a quite a different tale between those two.
Call it SEC bias, call it whatever. Indiana is going to have some of these teams take a loss before they jump. Like, I've just seen it. They are Penn State is the nth degree example of what I think about Indiana. And it's just like, I know something's coming, so I'm not going to be able to do it. Even if it's not to the playoff. Listen, come playoff time, we may extend this to 12 like we did last season, and then we will start talking a lot more about the Indianas and Illinois and USCs and Memphis and Tulane, the G5 stuff.
Yep.
But I'm only got 10, and right now, obviously you can't find a team for Indiana to supplant. Neither can I, just because even if you look at resumes, a lot of these times I was like, okay, if Indiana, who was your number 10 team? Texas A&M?
No, this week it's Florida State.
Or Florida State. No, none of us would pick Indiana to beat Texas A&M. Nobody would pick Indiana to beat Texas Tech or Ole Miss or Florida State. Yeah, and so it's just I can't get there yet. I know it was a demonstrative win at home against Illinois, but I'm just not there yet.
One of the things I'm most excited about this weekend, Drew, we talked about moving Saturday. We haven't really talked about this, but I do want to touch on it now. We're going to pick against the FanDuel spread tomorrow, so make sure y'all tune in for that. But the two current longest home winning streaks in college football are being put to the test this weekend.
I know Georgia's one of them. I think they're the longest.
They're at 33 games as of this month. Do you know who number 2 is?
Home winning streak. So I know Ole Miss plays at home, but I don't think they're one of them. Because you got to think the longest winning streak right now is not that long of a winning streak.
Like 7 games.
Yeah. And so, I'm not going to say Penn State. I'm just trying to think of. I don't know. Just tell me.
Washington. The Washington Huskies
never.
At 20 consecutive wins in Seattle. Ohio State travels to Washington. Ohio State is head and shoulders the better team. They're more talented. They are clearly the better team. But there's something to be said about home field magic. If something's going to, I'm not saying that it is. We're going to pick against the spread tomorrow. And Ohio State, Washington is not one of them because I don't think it's going to be that close. But
what is the spread? Do you have it?
I'll pull it up right now. If there was ever a shot, it's for Washington to do it at home. Currently on FanDuel.com for a 2:30 kick in Seattle. Ohio State is an 8.5-point road favorite.
Listen, I don't know the first thing about Washington anymore.
Neither.
They're now in the Big Ten, not in the Pac-12. Ever since, let's see, who was their coach that left and took a big job?
It was what's his name? Why am I not Whittingham?
No, I'm blanking on that. I know that they had
I can see his face. He's a young guy. I can see his face. He took him to the. So it's Jed Fish is the current coach.
He's the one that came from Arizona.
Right. I got it right here. All right. So before it was it was Kalen DeBoer. He left and went to Alabama. I can't believe
That's
we blinked on
right.
that. I was
Duh.
thinking of Chris Peterson is who I was picturing in my head, who left, and the former Boise State coach that came there. But it was Kalen DeBoer. He had that 2-year magical run where they went 25-3. And then he went to Alabama, which they're also going to be testing the Georgia home winning streak that is currently at 34 games as of this month. So you got the two longest ones. I think we both
Is
would
it
agree.
33? How many? What's the current winning
33.
streak?
It's 33 for Georgia, 20 for Washington. Oregon is at 3 with 15. Alabama is 4th with 12. And Boise State was number 5, but they lost to South Florida earlier this year at home. So you're
I hope that Georgia is riding a 35-game home winning streak when Ole Miss comes to town. I don't want Alabama to be like, you always want to be the team that beats them the first time. Like somebody can beat them once, so you very rarely going to get to beat them twice.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that Georgia is riding a 35-game win streak.
But I think we both would
Ole Miss.
agree that of the two, the Georgia one would be the more likely one to end this weekend.
No, Washington. Washington's going to get boat race.
Washington.
Yeah.
So sorry, Washington's
Yeah.
what I meant to say. Yes, Washington is the most likely to get to end. Georgia's most likely to extend.
Yeah. So that's our preview. That's our Grease poll. I will give a recommendation real quick, and this is coming from an Ole Miss guy. I did watch the Lane Kiffin E60 last night.
I was going to ask you about that.
I don't know if you've got it queued up or recorded it. It will re-air, I'm sure. It was a good hour. It was it felt rushed. It felt like something, and of course, because I am highly invested in Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss fans may be the only ones that would ask for more, but it felt like it was pretty rushed. Paul Feinbaum comes across as the biggest hater. Like, he is just the worst. And I don't think anybody actually even is in the Feinbaum camp anymore. And it was a good show. If you want to go and at the end, towards the end of this season, and there's already 3 coaching jobs that are open. There will be a couple SEC jobs that come open. Before you start linking Lane to job X, Y, or Z, watch the last 10 minutes of that, because what you see in Lane now is they end the show with him sitting around the table with his whole family in Oxford, including his brother, sister-in-law, and their kids, and his mom have all relocated. Just watch the last 10 minutes. This is not the dude anymore that left Tennessee after a year. It's just not that guy anymore. And it was as wholesome as you will see in Lane. And the Joey Freshwater, it exists only in a Twitter persona now. And the Twitter persona is there. But it was cool to see, as a guy that's got kids now and enjoys time at the house with that in Lane Kiffin in the last 10 minutes of that show. What are you researching there? You're muted.
It popped up on X and then went away. Dadgum, I wish. Oh, here it is. The initial injury report for the Ole Miss and LSU game is out.
Okay. I've
Guess who's
obviously
not
not
on
seen it. Huh?
Guess who is not on it?
Simmons?
Austin Simmons is not listed. Out for Ole Miss is Devin Price. Questionable is Jalen Braxton. And offensive lineman John Wayne Oliver. Probable is Traylon Ray, wide receiver. Not a single mention of Austin Simmons.
This is why I was talking to you about the semantics of this. This is an injury report, but it doesn't mean he will be available. But that does not mean he's fully healthy. And so when Lane says that he is going to play Austin Simmons, if Austin Simmons is 100% healthy, I buy that. I agree with that. Is he playing games? Quite possibly. That would be my stance on it as well, is if Austin Simmons is 100% healthy. I think the possibility of him being 100% healthy is slim, and you're coming up to a bye week. So I think you're going to see Austin Simmons in a role like you saw against Kentucky, where he's obviously not 100%, but he is the backup. That is why he's not on the injury report.
Whatever you got to do to justify it and help you sleep at night.
Okay, what's your excuse? What's your reason?
I mean,
what do you think he's doing? What's the under the table dealings that he's doing?
This week is not as big of a deal because they've already announced that Chambliss is the starting quarterback. But if they had not made that announcement and then Austin Simmons is not listed on the injury report, it's bad form. And it's not. It's again, there's no
bad
rule
form if what happens. Like, what would make it bad form? If Austin Simmons decided to play, like he decided to start him.
I'm trying to talk. Yeah. There's no rule that he has to put him on the injury report. I get that. But it's skirting the system that if he is hurt, he's not going to play. But you don't announce that if you don't put him on the injury report, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, he's out from an injury the day of the game. That is poor. That is, you can justify it all you want. I know you just had like
care.
A love fest and
you
whatever
wouldn't care.
But
you wouldn't care one bit if it wasn't Ole Miss.
Absolutely not. That's
you wouldn't hold anybody to this standard because the fact of the matter is that Austin Simmons was on the injury report going into that Kentucky game, and he was in a backup role, but he did play. So I mean, I would
bet,
and coaches everywhere do this.
Amount of money. We have a Lane Kiffin rule for faking injuries, and I would bet a not insignificant amount of money that we're going to have an injury report rule come out next year that could also be called the Lane Kiffin rule.
That's bogus. This happens on every single level of play from high school up.
Everybody sees it, but you, Drew. You got your red.
I think he's referring to this argument that's been going on for 2.5 years. That you don't want to let slide.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I would bet a decent amount of money that we have another Lane Kiffin rule next year. We've got one because of the faking injuries.
And that's not even something Lane started. It happened to Lane, and he adopted it. Lane's a lightning rod. You put Lane's picture on anything, and it becomes about Lane. And the issue in which it's talked about becomes a Lane thing. Because Lane, in his whole career, has just been a freaking lightning rod. It's
just making.
I mean, you can be wrong. You wouldn't admit it if you were, though.
Just making statements, hide and watch. But that's going to do it for your Thursday edition of the $2 Sports Show. We will be back tomorrow to pick against the FanDuel spread. We'll be picking against the odds that you can find on FanDuel.com for all of the big games tomorrow. Come watch us pick. Let's see. I got them all written down right here. Tomorrow we are picking Notre Dame, Arkansas, USC, Illinois, Auburn, A&M, Oregon, Penn State, Bama, Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi State, and LSU at Ole Miss. It's going to be an incredible day of football on Saturday. Come hang with us at Grind City Brewing for the show at 5:30. Watch your favorite team there. Again, wear your Vols or Mississippi State gear for $5 off beers during the game. And we will see y'all back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central on Bluff City Media's YouTube channel. Go be a friend of somebody who needs a friend. And Drew, tell them why there are no refunds.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. Hope everybody has a good Thursday, the best day of the work week, and we'll see you back tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.